The bull-headed lyre is another term for a politician, or a really horrible pun. But it is a lyre, basically an instrument very similar to a harp. It's a stringed instrument, would have had probably a relatively similar sound, and it was originally found, or this one, was originally found in a king's grave, and it was restored. So all of the wooden parts, the strings, everything, has been restored from almost nothing, and then the inlay has been put back into place. Now, the bull's head itself is covered in gold leaf, and the blue stone you'll recognize, hopefully by this point, as lapis. The blue stone, of course, from Afghanistan, very valuable because it's very expensive, very rare. It needs to be imported on those early proto-Silk roads from Afghanistan all the way to Mesopotamia. The gold, again, that symbolism of gold being pure, being the color of the sun, being something that can't oxidize, can't break down, that seems immortal in and of itself. And it gives us a sense of something that would have been quite valuable. They're using leaf, in other words, gold that's only a few atoms thick, pounded to an incredibly thin level. And that is to give the impression of something that is solid gold when you don't have that much gold available. The panels are inlaid. Now, the inlay process is quite difficult because it means that you have to cut out from the base wood the shape that the tile or whatever you're inlaying is going to take, and then you have to lay it in, leaving as little gap as possible between the base wood and the material being used. And what we see, especially when we look at the front of the bull-headed lyre, so the bull's head would have been directly above this, or was directly above this, is this inlaid panel. And what we see are, again, composite figures, especially in that top register. So you see the bulls, for example, in strict profile, except for the heads that face towards us. And the man in the middle, again, his legs are in profile, his chest and head face us, giving us that basic composite view. And these are heroic figures. So at the top, if I bring up my pen here, what we have is a show of strength because he is stronger than oxen. Here we see animals serving him. So not only is he a god to humans in the civilized world, but he is seen as particularly important, someone that is owed tribute by the animal kingdom, as if he controls both civilization and the wilderness. And again, we have the animals entertaining him. And you'll see the animals change. So we have oxen, a symbol of strength, the predatory large cats being symbols of courage, being symbols of power. A bear being a symbol, again, of power. And we see even scorpions, which are generally seen as animals that can't be trusted, who are apparently giving tribute to this great king. Each element is a part of that sort of heraldic composition, heroic composition, showing the virtues and abilities of a single man over all of these different forces, in this case representing forces of nature, forces of the wilderness, etc. And then what we have is something that would have a great deal of meaning in the afterlife. By burying a musical instrument with this king, what you get is a situation where the instrument can be used to entertain him, or maybe be used by him to entertain the gods, or to find favor with the gods and find betterment in the afterlife. It's also a show of wealth, just like Newgrange was in terms of the amount of resources that went into that tomb. Here, a very poor person or working class person, such as they would have been at the time, say a farmer, would not be able to be buried with grave goods of this expense. Why? Because they simply didn't have those kinds of resources to bury in the ground. If you happen to be a king, well, you would. And so it becomes a show of wealth as well at your funeral. Who says you can't take it with you?